right? So today I'm planning to introduce a study, and this study is about what happens when you replace the calorie coming from the carbohydrate with fat. Mm. So they divided people into three groups. The first group is a high carbohydrate group. So about 60% of their energy comes from carbohydrate. And the low carbohydrate group, the third group, about only 20% of daily calorie comes from the carbohydrate. It may be hard to understand like exactly how much that is. So imagine somebody's on eating 2000 calorie a day. So this means about like a 300 gram of calorie a day in high carbohydrate group. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even. All right, I will restart. So today I'm explaining you about this is a study, uh, and they looked at what happens in how your body use the energy depending on where you get the calorie. So especially what percentage of the energy comes from the carbohydrate and fat. So they divided population into three groups. One group, the first group, is high carbohydrate group, and the second is moderate carbohydrate group, and the third group is low carb group. To be specific, the high carb group, 60% of their energy comes from carbohydrate, and low carb group only 20% of their calorie comes from the carbohydrate. This may be hard to understand exactly how much amount of carbohydrate that is. So imagine someone's on like a 2000 calorie diet. So then 60%, the carbohydrate group, they are eating about 300 gram of carbohydrate a day, while low carbohydrate group is eating about 100 gram of carbohydrate. 300 gram of carbohydrate means you are pretty much eating everything you want. And 100-gram carbohydrate group, 100 gram is quite hard to achieve. Without Zepbound or Wegovy weight loss medication, if somebody can achieve 100 gram of carbohydrate, 100 gram of carbohydrate a day, what I see is about almost like a 70%, about 70% of them, they successfully lose weight. So it's very hard. And let's see what happened to them. So what they monitored is after they eat same amount of calorie, they measured the thing they measured glucose, free fatty acids, or hydroxybutylate. So the energy sources in our blood. So with the same amount of calorie, we want our blood to contain larger amount of energy sources. The longer, the better. Uh, and if your energy sources in the blood goes down rapidly, that means you're going to get hungry soon. That's the against what we want. And they measured it. And what happens in the first Sorry about that. I was disconnected. I will make it real quick. Let me just share the screen again. All right. Add it to the page. All right. So there's been some internet connection issue. So I'm gonna restart it. Yeah, you guys can talk. Yeah, I'm just doing some.
You're drinking?
No, I'm not. I'm doing a live here. So let me just restart from the beginning. So I'm going to look at a study that tested how a different amount of carbohydrates in the diet affect the amount of usable energy circulating in the bloodstream after meals, especially after weight loss. And this can help us understand how some diets may promote better energy balance than others. So long story short, uh, very simplified version is after you eat same amount of calorie, you want the energy to remain in your bloodstream as long as possible, right? If your energy in the blood goes down, then you're going to feel hungry and you will have to eat again soon. Of course, the calorie intake will go up and you will eventually gain weight. So we will see, depending on how you where you get the calorie, how your body's energy use changes. So the study included 29 adults who had recently lost. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the key difference is they divided the group into three. One is high carbohydrate group. High carbohydrate group, they gain their calorie from carbohydrate, 60% of their calorie from the carbohydrate. Low carbohydrate group, they gained only 20% of the daily calorie from the carbohydrate. They all ate the same amount of protein, but the fat amount changed. So high carbohydrate group, low fat, and low carbohydrate group, high fat. And during the 24-hour inpatient stay, researchers measured circulating fuels in the blood, glucose, free fatty acids, and ketones. They combined these into value called energy availability, or EA. Higher EA means more immediately usable energy in the bloodstream. So we want high EA after the meal so we don't get hungry sooner. So again, high EA, the better. And I want to show what happens in the first 30 minutes. So imagine somebody ate a lunch at like a 12:30, and between 1 o'clock and 3:30, what happens? You can see that high carbohydrate group, they experienced 0.784, I mean 0.74, zero point 0.8 decrease, calorie decrease per liter. You don't have to remember the scale, but we are seeing more rapid drop, faster drop in energy EA in the blood, EA, within 30 to 3 hours after the meal. And what happens between 3 and 5 hours, this has got to be 3 and 5 hours. Yeah, they didn't specify. I mean, yeah, this is what happened in the 3 and 5 hour. I just remember that. So let's say you ate the lunch at 12:30, and between 3:30 and 5:30, you see low EA left, energy availability left in the blood in high carbohydrate group, and much higher energy left in the low carbohydrate group. So of course they're going to feel more energy left and they're going to feel less appetite. And there's a little bit more detail. They also measured, I made a ChatGPT to organize the paper I had. They must have done, yeah, here it is. So they also measured insulin and glucagon ratio. So let me just explain you a little bit about insulin and glucagon. Insulin is something that try to save the energy in the blood into fat. So insulin is against weight loss. Glucagon is something that use the energy saved in the liver. So it uses the saved energy. Of course, the more glucagon is going to save the energy and eventually maintain the energy availability in the blood high, so you don't feel hungry and you will eventually lose weight. So insulin to glucagon ratio, we want it to be high. And you don't have to remember exact number here, but you can see that the ratio was 7 times higher in high carb group. So when you eat high carbohydrate diet, it tends to secrete more insulin. Lead to higher insulin secretion and lower glucagon. So in that way, you are more like saving your energy into more fat instead of using the energy saved in your body, and leads to weight gain. So that's pretty much about it. And thank you so much for watching.